Before we begin the video, if you haven't yet, come on down and join my Discord server. Link is down in the description. Hey, welcome back guys for our final episode review. The season finale, or are we even calling it a finale? Whatever. The final episode of season 14, The Tooth of Wojira. A fight breaks out, the ninja escape and fight the keepers, and they go after Jay, who is sailing out to sea. And Jay is taken by Wojira, unfortunately. However, the ninja realize this isn't Wojira. It's a boat, it's a fake, as we all suspected. They share this news with the keepers, which is pretty much when they turned good, and they explain how the backstory basically of when Wojira woke up. So yeah, meanwhile, at a random cave in the sea, Jay discovers he's been taken hostage by prisoners, and so the other ninja arrive, a fight breaks out. It's discovered that Ronan was actually behind this entire operation. And then a twitchy Tim ex machina, he shows up, destroys Ronan single-handedly, and yeah, the day is saved. Back at the island, Ronan is arrested, and we get a Scooby-Doo reference when he says he would have gotten away with it. I really like that. In the final scene, Lloyd contemplates, is Wojira even real? And a few seconds later, we get our answer as the camera goes down deep into the ocean to show Wojira sleeping. Okay, so first up, I thought the beginning of this episode was pretty strong. I just want to say I like in this season and this episode, the use of elemental powers is great. Especially how Zayn uses ice to create rafts. Especially how in the last two seasons, the ninja didn't really use their powers. Because of Prime Empire and the Vegstone. So I feel like this season's use of powers is super creative and I really like it. I also think the emotion is pretty good, especially concerning Jay getting sacrificed. I don't like one thing about season 12 is Zayn fake out death in the finale. And in season 10, Cole's Fall, both scenes in which I feel like they definitely milk the emotion. So I was glad that they didn't really do that here. Of course, the ninja are sad, but right away the season tells us there's no reason to be that sad. Nothing bad has happened to Jay. He's going to be back very soon. So I think the handling of all of that was pretty good. And then there's this great scene where the keepers are confronted by the ninja. I really like the scene. I thought it was great, especially how the keepers emphasize that they have been trained to do everything in order to guard the amulet, even if it isn't necessarily the right thing. If it protects the amulet, they'll do it. On the other hand, they just sacrificed the ninja's friend. They really feel upset about this. So I felt like, again, the emotion was portrayed very well here. I think it was really cool to see the keepers getting, confronted by the ninja. Great scene in my opinion. But also the backstory as well. Yeah, I mean, this season doesn't have any crazy backstory, but it does have a few flashbacks. The main one of this season being in this episode, where we learn how Wojira woke up and why they do what they do, why they sacrifice. From there, the episode goes downhill a bit, but we'll discuss that soon. I will say it was really nice to see Ronan back. We haven't seen him have this kind of involvement in the story since season 7 maybe, and I do have some issues with him, but on some level, it is always nice to see returning characters back, so definitely praise for that. And lastly, there was the final scene of the season. There was this really special feeling of seeing it for the first time. When I saw it, I kind of freaked out because this scene was just incredibly insane. Perfect way to end the season, in my opinion. And I thought it was just super cool to see Wojira at the very end of this episode, kind of showing us the first look, but also really fueling speculation and theories about Wojira for the next season. So yeah, that was just so awesome. The music was really good. Felt very reminiscent of the Moro cameo in season 4. And it's been a long time since we had a great cliffhanger like this. So all in all, I very much enjoyed it. Probably this episode's worst part was the final fight. I just felt like it wasn't very good, and neither was the dialogue. The dialogue is used to explain off-screen events, such as how the ninja got to the cove, and here it feels very awkward. It doesn't work very well, really unnatural, and just doesn't go well with the fight. And then there's Ronan. Ronan isn't terrible, but I have an issue that I also had with Skybound. It feels like both of these seasons kind of ignore his possession arc, and both of these seasons make Ronan really, really flip-floppy. They make him go back to being against the ninja, even though his story about season 5 was him becoming friends with the ninja, him learning morals. But yet both of these seasons go against that because Ronan is a flip-flopper. That's just who he is. That's his archetype. And I would have to disagree with that because I feel like in season 5, that was about him changing. And yet at the same time, it feels like, did he really ever change? He's still out for himself, even if it means going against the ninja, which again does seem to kind of contradict his development from possession. So yeah, it's hardly an issue just with this season. Skybound did the exact same thing, and unfortunately, I think it was great that we saw Ronin, but this season seems to be it repeats the exact same mistake. But definitely the worst issue of this episode, and probably the season, was seeing Twitchy Tim show up out of nowhere and by himself destroy Ronin. Really bad in my opinion, could have easily been fixed had it been the entire Keeper army instead. Here's the thing, they try to give Tim an arc in this season. It has really good potential, but it just doesn't have nearly enough time to deliver. And so my big issue is, Tim conquers his fears off screen. One moment he's scared, and then the next moment in this episode, he's suddenly unafraid. He's suddenly confident. Where was the transition? When did this happen? That's my big issue with this. It's not that the writing was bad, it's just that there wasn't enough time, and so we go from, again, a scared, fearful Tim to a confident Tim riding in on the catamaran. Not good. Generally, the plot of this episode was pretty good. The plot twist of it just being random Cryptarium prisoners, or rather the prisoners from season 12, not gonna lie, it's a bit underwhelming, but it's not bad. And then characters, great scene where the ninja confronted the keepers, but then there's Twitchy Tim. Again, I don't dislike him because he's annoying, and I don't dislike him either. I just feel like there's a lot of missed potential here, unfortunately. The action was okay. The stuff at the start of the episode was good. The stuff at the end, not so much. Lastly, the emotion. I felt like it was really good when the ninja thought Jay was sacrificed. Really well done emotion. It felt very real. But I also like how, unlike in the past, they didn't milk it or exploit our feelings. So I'll give this episode an 8 out of 10. Generally seems like the popular opinion is this episode isn't good, and I would have to disagree there. At first I was skeptical, and this episode definitely has grown on me, and don't get me wrong, there are definitely some huge issues here, really big problems that I'm not a fan of, but overall the majority of this episode is pretty good, and as a whole, I thought season 14 was a decent, good season. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe, share with anyone and everyone you know. Share your thoughts on episode 4, The Tooth of Wojira below, and I'll see you next time.